Hello, hello, good evening. God bless you all. It's time once again for 5 minutes for First Lady, and I'm Lady Benita Buckner. Once again, thanking everyone who tune in and listen, like, and share. I appreciate your support. Last week, we talked about Psalm 23, and that was one of my favorites. And this week, my scripture has been Psalm 61. Hear my cry, O God, attend unto my prayer. From the ends of the earth will I cry unto thee. When my heart is overwhelmed, lead me to the rock. I have just been stuck with when my heart is overwhelmed. I had to, of course, look it up. Overwhelmed means overcome, completely overcome, overpowered, completely defeated. That's what that word overwhelmed is. And I think all of us are kind of feeling that right now. So much is going on, so many deaths. Just unthinkable things have been going on. And, senseless, very senseless murders and deaths and COVID related things and sicknesses and those passing away. It becomes overwhelming. And I think that's why it just led me to this scripture that's when my heart is overwhelmed, lead me to the rock. We all know in the scripture, Psalms is written by David during a time frame when he was so far away from God because God had just basically taken his spirit from him. He had messed up. He, had an affair with Bathsheba and then had her husband killed and, took her as his wife, and there was a child involved and just so much going on. And God was so disappointed that he took his spirit for him. And then all these scripture in Psalm where you find that David is begging and pleading for God to forgive him, and he didn't give up. That's just it. He just knew what he was missing and he was fighting for it. He was like, God, I miss you. I'm overwhelmed. I need you back in my life. I'm so sorry. He didn't give up. There's hundreds of scriptures in the Bible, in Psalms, when he is crying out to God. But in the midst of all of it, he did not give up. So he's basically praying here and he's saying, when my heart is overwhelmed, lead me to the rock. Basically, when I feel like I'm at my wit's end, when I feel like I can't go any further, I feel like I'm drowning. When I'm overwhelmed, lead me to the rock. We know that rock is Jesus. Jesus is a solid rock. When I tell you that when this is boulder and it's beaten down, it's chipped away, it's still a rock. A pebble, still a rock. No matter what it goes through, water may come, the storm, the wind, whatever situation is happening, it's still a rock. That's how solid Jesus is. No matter what's going on, we can depend on Jesus. So in the midst of all of this, when we're feeling overwhelmed, because I'm telling you now, this has been so overwhelming. So much has been going on. So much is happening. It can become overwhelming. But even in the midst of this feeling, being overcome by so much grief, all of these feelings, all of these things, we can still go to the rock, and that is Jesus. So when our heart is overwhelmed, when we feel like we just can't take it anymore, when we feel like I've gone through this, I'm dealing with this, I'm trying my best, I've gone to the end, there's nothing else I can do, I've held on as long as I possibly can. In the midst of it, when our heart is overwhelmed, continue to seek the Lord, continue to pray, continue to know that he is a solid rock that we can depend on. No matter what the situation, he is that rock. He is that solid rock. He is stable. No matter what the situation, he is stable. And he will be that for us. We just have to remind ourselves, even when the chaos is going on, remind ourselves that Jesus is that rock. No matter the grief that is going on, remember, it all points back to Jesus. When we feel like we're by ourselves, that nobody cares, we still go to Jesus. He's the only one that can solve any situation we're dealing with. He's the only one can comfort us when we feel like we don't have any comfort left in us. He's the only one that can handle any situation we're dealing with. We just have to go to him humbly as we know how. Go to him in prayer and know that whatever situation, he's going to bring us through it. If he can bring you to it, he can bring you through it. So we have to have that faith to believe that no matter what the situation is, when our heart is overwhelmed, that he will lead us to the rock that is higher than I, and that is Jesus. So remember, at the end of the day, go to Jesus. Go to him in prayer. Go to him humbly. He is the solid rock that we can depend on. I pray that you remain safe and that God continues to bless you.